Hey.
The luxury of self-destruction to be self-aware. Why my malfunctions into this reverse? Smile, I walk to get a drink from the machine. Why my malfunctions? The luxury of self-destruction to be self-aware.
Hi, everybody, and good morning. Hi, Jaimee
Hi.
Lee.
Hello, beautiful human.
Hello. Oh, I'm so excited for today. So, welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us for our first ever Behind the Hair series, which is very exclusive to our new YouTube channel. For those that don't know me, my name is Melvin. I am the Global Artistic Director for 11 Australia. And today I am joined with a very incredible, beautiful Jaimee Lee. So hello, Jaimee Lee.
Hello.
Now you've
Can
just
you
come
hear
back, yes.
Okay,
Perfectly.
you're doubling up on my ears.
Am I? Oh.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
You're a bit delayed when you speak to me.
Oh, okay. Let's try this. Is that better?
A little bit delayed.
Sorry.
Do you want to just try? Let me just make sure everything's off. I think. Can you hear me now, Melvin?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect. I can hear you perfectly now.
Good. All right. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for this first session of Behind the Hair. So, if you don't know what Behind the Hair is, Behind the Hair really is about platforming incredible artists and talking about their journey into hairdressing and what makes their salon successful, what makes their career successful. So we're really so excited to start off and kick off this session with our beautiful global brand artist, Jaimee Lee. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, my darling. It's so exciting to be here. I love and adore you, and I'm so happy to sit down and talk about all things behind the hair.
Thanks. So, for those that don't know the Jaimee Lee or the Jaimee Lee brand, talk us through who you are.
Okay, where to begin, I guess.
Where to start?
I guess for those that don't know me, I am Jaimee Lee, and I am the owner and director of Salon Jaimee Lee. And I have been a part of 11 Australia and the team for almost, 10 years. So, I've known Melbourne since I was fresh into kind of my industry. And I think it's really special to be sitting here with you today and talking about everything and how I got to maybe where I am right now. So, if I really wanted to go back to the core, I've always had such a passion for hairdressing, and I'm so grateful that I started my career with an amazing hairdresser in Perth, and she kind of welcomed me into this world of, the hair industry. And I think from such a young age, I've always been super passionate about the industry. And, when I first took my step out, going out on my own, I always knew that my drive and my passion would always get me to where I am today. And I think the first kind of step I took was working on Australia's Next Top Model with yourself and Rachel and the 11 Australia team.
God. Don't remind me of that. I still have PTSD. Wait, PTSD? Yeah, PTSD from that.
One of those ones. Yeah, honestly, it was a wild ride, but that was my first introduction to this 11 Australia team. I stopped the brand and I worked by myself. I was, just sharing a space in my girlfriend's shop. We had a one-stop shop where I had my best friend doing makeup. I had my other best friend doing designer clothes. And, for us, it was the destination in Perth to get, your outfit when you go out, you get your hair and your makeup. So for me, that was really the core of, I think, where I got to where I am today.
Amazing. So I think before we dive into the questions I put together for you, for those who've just joined us, please welcome. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them on. I think it's on this side. No, It's on somewhere here.
Somewhere around.
I've got Mar. So Mar is from Ireland, one of our educators. Hi, Mar. And guess who's here? Rachel Vitullo is in the chat room.
Hi,
Also,
Sissy.
yes. Also, congratulations to Miss Rachel Vitullo
I
for Commercial
know.
Hairdresser of the Year.
Her color work is absolutely incredible. So make sure you check that out because it's beautiful.
And obviously, congratulations is in order. As Jaimee Lee, you've been nominated for Hairdresser of the Year. Yes. So we will talk a little.
Yeah, we'll dive into
We'll talk about that later. But
yeah,
my first question for you, and I think this is something, and I don't know whether you know this, but your brand, the Salon Jaimee Lee brand, is making a noise over this side of the world.
like honestly,
Yeah.
I am on such a high right now. Like as you know, me and Melvin were talking before we kind of got on here. You know, a couple of days ago was in the south of France for a huge campaign for an incredible Perth designer, and I was on the plane last night and like finding out that I was like WA finalist. So to be having this conversation with you today, it just like my heart is so warm right now, and like I'm so excited to be sitting down and kind of talking about this. And I think it's the perfect timing, and I probably will get emotional because I'm on such a high right now, but I'm really excited to kind of be talking to you about all things. There I am.
So your brand is making quite some noise over, like, it's really interesting for me to watch, being over here in Europe and you being over in Australia, and people going, Jaimee Lee, like, who is Jaimee Lee? What is Jaimee Lee? People know this brand Jaimee Lee because of its aesthetic and its, the way you've really done that aesthetic and that branding.
Yeah.
So I'm getting music from someone. Is that from yours?
Is that off?
Yeah, it's off now.
Just had a bit of background music.
Hi, James. Welcome, James. But James, tell me, how did you start? What inspired you to start Salon Jaimee Lee? Like, what was it where you were like, time for me to start my own salon?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing was when I was sharing the space with my girlfriend, who's a designer, and then my other girlfriend, who's a makeup artist. I got to a point where I think I had two options. I could either, where I was, it was my position to either move to Melbourne and really kind of explore my career and like kind of push forward and work for somebody. And then my other option was to, I guess, open Salon Jaimee Lee. So I kind of looked at those two options, and for me, where I was exactly at the time, it just felt right for me to create a space for staff and explore that option and give back to the future generation of hairdressers. I think that's what the pure drive was, and still to this day is like my main drive. So
I love that mission. That's so incredible. And
I think at that time, sorry, Melvin, I had somebody come into my life, and I had just done her hair, and, I then offered her a job. So for me, it was like, I am about to open the world for her, and it just felt right to open up, I guess, Salon Jaimee Lee. And here it is. I love it.
And I think, if we look at it now, we can all agree that your salon, absolutely beautiful. And I think you've nailed it in terms of, I think when I think of you as a person, like, I've known you for, how long now? Over a decade now, right?
Yeah.
And then when you told me you were opening your own salon, I was like, this is going to be so beautiful, because I think you as a person, what you include, your salon is absolutely bloody gorgeous. I'm still in shock. I still haven't been there yet, but it's going to be my mission.
Soon.
But talk to me about how, like, what challenges did you face when opening a salon, or when coming up with the concept of the salon, I guess?
Yeah, of course. I think, like, for me, when I first decided that I wanted to explore and find a space for, like, to create a team and really kind of push myself in the industry, I think for me the biggest thing, and will always be, is I wanted a community around me. And what I meant by that is, like, finding a location that kind of focuses on, like, who I am, and having that community base was really important for me. So every time I was looking for a location, I had to look for somewhere that had, either restaurants or cafes that I could support, and then they could support me. And I think that's still like the core of who I am today, because I love supporting them and vice versa. So, finding a location was key. I didn't want to be in the middle of nowhere. I know that came with my challenges though. And it took me, maybe potentially 6 months to even find this incredible space that we're in today. And I'm so grateful, because as I've watched Perth grow, we've grown as well in the suburb that we're at. So that was like probably the first thing, is finding the right place. And, I think I manifested this place a little bit, because I would drive past this shop every day, and it was like an office, and it had like black windows. And I remember, because I'm surrounded by light, like I don't have, every wall in my salon is a window. So for me, I think that was the biggest thing, is I needed to have natural light, because that represents me as a hairdresser and like who I am. I have to be surrounded by natural light.
Yeah.
And that reflects my work as well.
What struck me right now, what you've just mentioned, Jaimee Lee, is when you thought about the ideas, you thought about the community first and what you could actually do for the community. And I think that in itself is already incredible, because it's not about the salon now. It's about, the people around, who's going to come into the salon, who's going to come visit, and how can you support all of the other sort of, other people around you on your avenue in the street. So we've got Stefan that says, "Love your courage, Jaimee Lee." Great insight.
Thank you, Stefan.
And Ben Farrer, hey, legend.
Hey. Oh, stop it. That's so
I think
sweet.
like what you've mentioned now, I think, when you're thinking of locations for salons, really what you did was you looked into who's around me, who can I support, who can support me. And I think looking at other businesses, I think that's such an incredible insight, because that has never crossed my mind. Like if I was to open a salon, I just want the most perfect location. But you've taken it a step further. You're going, right, who's around me now? I think that's beautiful.
I think for me, it's just like installed in me. So like, creating and having like communities around me is really important. And sorry, my music keeps coming on. This wants to buy.
Is there a party at Salon Jaimee Lee?
I mean, I got the girls to like leave the salon for a little bit, and I was like, come back in an hour. But no, I think that's just like who I am as like a person, and like I'm always thinking about other people, and obviously that always comes with sometimes weaknesses as well, because I'm never putting myself first. I'm always putting other people first, I think. So
speaking of other people, let's talk about your staff. How many do you have at the moment?
We have a team of 6 incredible, talented, and absolutely beautiful humans I've ever met. And I'm so grateful. And, even going back to my award, it's not for me, it's for them. And they have always supported me and pushed me to, be more creative, and they've always got my back. And I think I'm so grateful to have a team that knows that I may have my hat on in 5 different places, but they've never made me feel, Jaimee Lee's here or that. They support me every step of the way. And I don't think I could be doing what I'm doing without the support of them. So I always feel that I always, when I'm hiring staff, it's always based on personality, to be really honest with you. I always think about skill is I can train skill. I can train anybody that wants to be trained. But however, you need to have a certain personality that, we spend more time at work than what we do sometimes with our families.
I agree.
Yeah, and you would know, having a really strong core team just makes everything just amazing. I want to spend so much time with them because I love and adore them.
Yeah. And I think that kind of stems from, when you and I were educating for 11 Australia back in the early days, it was you, me, Rachel. It was the 3 of us how it started, and we all got along really well. Then then you had Missy joined, Yippee joined, and I think what made 11 Australia education successful was because they came for the vibes, they came for the person, and obviously everyone was trained so highly. And I think you're so correct. You can't train personality, but you can obviously train skills. So when you're looking for staff, when they apply and they come in for an interview, what is it that you look for as soon as they sit down?
Yeah, I think I have a really good sense of like picking up if we can connect or like our values are aligned or, you know, work ethic and stuff like that and experience. So for me, I always like any person that is in the salon and a part of the team, past or, you know, present, the first thing I always do is I just sit them down and we just have a chat. To be really honest with you, I don't look at it as an interview. For me, it's more, I just want to get to know you. What are you wanting to get, you know, got moving forward? What is it that's something that you like about Salon Jaimee Lee? So for me, I always, you know, think about just having a chat with them. I look at them as at the end of the day, they're human beings. So I think that's the first thing that I don't want to know about your experience or your past. Like, I'm not really too phased about that. I actually genuinely just want to have a chat with you first. And with all my girls, like, it's been instant connection. And I get that vibe straight away from anyone that I sit down with. So I kind of always can pick it up pretty quickly. And then for me, that's the first thing that I'll always do. And then I'll kind of get them back in. And more importantly, it's actually seeing how they mesh with the team now. So it's actually, you know, let's get you in for a trial and then let's see how you go with the team, because that team culture is so important for me and the girls, and they all know that. And, you know, I value all their opinions as well. So I'll always have a chat with them and, you know, how did you go? Or, you know, did you have a chat with the new girl? So I value the girls' opinions, and, you know, we always kind of talk about it as a team, because as we all know, having a really strong team makes the day run like a well-oiled
Run smoothly. Yeah. I love that. So I guess, I mean, if we think of the brand Salon Jaimee Lee, it is a brand of itself, and it's very distinguishable. Like what you do in terms of how the salon looks, your social media, to all of your community outreach, your photo shoots, there's a very distinct aesthetic that Salon Jaimee Lee has. How did you come up with that? Like how did you create that aesthetic? Or was there some sort of, were you like, this is my type of look, this is my type of hair,
Yes.
How was that?
This goes back to pretty much when I was working in the shared space with like my best friends. And, you know, we have very much the same aesthetic. So very clean lines, you know, all white. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, because I was in someone else's space. Oh, God. She just needs to turn off, doll. I'm so sorry about the music. Keeps coming back on.
Fine, though.
And I think because I was in a shared space and we had the same aesthetic, for me, I knew that it wasn't, I guess, my salon. So I wanted to make sure that across the board, my like Instagram or anything that I was putting out there was like aesthetically, I was in the same place essentially. So the best thing I could do, and even this is when I was freelancing, I would carry around like a whiteboard with me, because I knew that if I was at a location, or I'm not even joking, like this is as raw and as honest, I would go to like a arts place and I would buy a white canvas and I would take it with me and I would get the clients to hold it up, because I aesthetically, you know, was very, I was very clear about what I kind of wanted to put out there. And I think from the jump, I've always been known as like, you know, she always has a white background, and that's something that I've always done for like, you know, being out on my own for like 8 years, having the salon for 5 years. So
essentially what you're saying is consistency has
been key. Yeah, absolutely.
And
I think that's like,
sorry, go ahead. I think this is what makes, you know, if we look at other salons that are very successful, consistency is key in the messaging in terms of, you know, the branding, the social media, the aesthetic of the brand. I think, you know, when we look at Salon Jaimee Lee, it's so distinct. Like, I know, I don't even, like, when I'm scrolling on TikTok, it's like, it comes like, oh, that's Jaimee Lee. Like, you just, like, I don't know what you've done, but it's like this potion, this magic potion that you've done. It's like, yeah, that's a Jaimee Lee hair. It's a signature. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. I think I'm really proud of like where I've gotten like my Instagram and social media too. And, I'm so grateful that I have an incredible, Taylor's like an in-house role marketing right now. And she really takes it on as her own, and she understands the brand, she understands the vision. And, for us, we've always been, I'm not just going to put out quantity, it's always going to be quality. And I think
I love
that is
that.
the thing that still stems from when I first started. I would never just put out something unless I, was 100% happy with it. And I think that's just who, I am as a hairdresser and how we are in the salon as well. So,
Yeah. And I think that's such a brilliant take, Jaimee Lee, is like quality over quantity. And I think sometimes in our world of hairdressing, we get so overwhelmed at, as educators or salon owners or as businesses, like I've got to post something on social media or else people will forget about me. But it's like, no, you'd rather post something that's really, really good than just posting something for the sake of it.
Agreed. Yeah. And it's just not who I am. And I recently had this chat with someone found us on TikTok. It was the Miss Universe of Australia. And I was like, how did you find us? And she was like, I typed in Perth hairdresser on TikTok and I really liked your aesthetic. And she's like, I loved how you styled hair. And I was like, that for me and Taylor, that was just like the recognition that everything that we're doing is like, it's coming across. And like you said, people know that it's Salon Jaimee Lee, that they know the core fundamentals of that.
I mean, segueing off, them finding you of TikTok, I mean, your social media game is, I think part of the reason why you're blowing off here is because over here, people see it. It's very different to what we're used to over here. It's pared back. It's, it's natural beauty. It's, it's about not just about the hair, but it's also about the person that's getting their hair done. So in terms of your social media for your business, like how important was that to set that up from the very beginning? Like, did you have a vision and a clear vision what you wanted your social media message to be?
Yeah, when I look back, I mean, I always will say it's so much harder to see it when you're in it, but it's only until you look back. But I know that my clear vision was always like, I always want hair to look like hair. That's like the bottom line. So for me, I definitely always portray that. And I think very quickly people then started saying, oh, like you do the SJL waves. And I think that was
the SJL wave.
The SJL waves was like,
you need to trademark that right now.
But it's crazy because it was just what I would do and I wouldn't think anything of it. And then I was like, I need to make this a service. So, we made it a service because people loved how we waved and styled hair. And I think that was a huge thing for me, being like, I know that I know how to make hair look like hair. And I always across the board wanted aesthetically to always have a white background. And for me, that's just because I want the hair to be the main focus. Mm-hmm. So I always found that if I was doing like freelance or I was moving from location to location, I didn't have that security of what I have now, of having that white backdrop. So I think that was always like the drive and the core of it. And then now I think, having someone come on board and kind of help me drive it and, being like, I really think we should see it from now the client's perspective. And I think that's a really beautiful way to showcase like our color work and our beautiful haircuts. So clients are coming in and seeing it for, what they would see in the chair. So it's a bit more relatable. And I think it's been a really incredible change up moving forward because we always have to keep moving forward and kind of evolving. I always want to grow. I think that's the bottom line. I believe that as soon as you kind of get a bit stagnant, you can kind of drop off a little bit. So for me, I'm never sitting still. As you can tell, getting off a plane yesterday.
I know. So I guess when we look at your social media, like you have a really perfect mixture of salon work, and then, the girls at work, and then a shoot somewhere in bloody Saint-Tropez. Like how do you manage to, and you're a mum as well to a beautiful, beautiful boy. How do you manage that? Like, to me, amazing. Because I need a nap by 3 p.m.
Says you. I mean, it all really, like, if I look at it, I am like stemmed from like drive and motivation, and I absolutely love what I do. So that's like the first thing I will say. Like, I am a different type of breed. I think, you know, like I can be on a plane tomorrow and be somewhere. If someone needs me, I'll do whatever I have to do because I'm that type of person, and I absolutely love what I do. So I feel like that's always the drive, but I must admit, and I can't, you know, do all of these things without having, you know, the amazing support that I have from like my family, like my partner and Leon. I speak to Leon about, you know, how I'm going away and I'm, you know, doing WA hairdresser of the year. And he, you know, he's so amazing. Mom, you are WA hairdresser. What are you talking about? But it's so amazing to have the support from like my partner and, you know, our beautiful son, but also more importantly, like I said before, having the team and always having my back is like huge, to know that they're like, you do it, you've got this, like we support you, we'll keep this place going for you. And, you know, any opportunity, of course, like I always want to bring them along as well. And that's kind of what I really enjoy and love. So to be able to do all of those things, I think, one, you have to have it within you to want to do it. And like I said, I'm a different breed. You even know me, Melvin. You tell me to jump, I say hi, because I love and breathe this industry, and I get so excited when like I create beautiful work. And, you know, when we were shooting for the campaign and I like did the most amazing hair that I've probably, you know, ever done, it really excites me and ignites me. I want to get back to the salon. I want to see the girls and, you know, get ready for the next one.
Yeah.
So
in terms of the, you know, you've got the backing of your staff and, you know, your family. How do you keep the staff motivated day to day? Like, what is it that you do to make sure that they want to keep coming to Salon Jaimee Lee? And this is, I guess, reason why I'm asking this is over here in Europe, you know, there is a shortage of hairdressers and, you know, other people are going into other avenues, and a lot of salon owners are finding it very difficult to maintain staff or keep them excited. So what is it that you do?
Look, I have definitely obviously had my ups and downs. Like I won't lie. There is always going to be that, I think, being a business owner or leading a team. For me, I find it really exciting to lead teams. So I find it like I always want to do better. And I'm also the person, like I said from the jump, is I will always put other people first. And I know that sometimes can have its cons as well. But I think the biggest thing for me is the girls all come in knowing like my values and, you know, like our boundaries, I think, in the salon. So they all come into knowing who I am, how I run the business. I'm very clear. And then I, you know, I keep them as much as I can. I will always keep them up to date with whatever I'm doing. So having a really clear communication has been crucial. You know, I sit down with the girls every 3 months to go over, you know, goals or what's coming up or achievements, what they've been doing amazing, what can we work on. So for me, that's every 3 months that I'll check in with them. Not to say that I can check on with them daily basis. We always have that, you know, open communication. And then every, you know, financial year, we sit down and do a big performance review. And, you know, that's when I'm looking at, you know, what they've, you know, all their performances throughout the year. We're looking at their pay. We're looking at their commission structure. You know, we're looking at all those fine tuning. And then I will always let them know what my goals are moving forward. So then by me letting them know exactly what I have planned for the salon, it kind of makes sure that, you know, does their goals align with the salon? So we're always kind of checking back in. But, you know, I also know and understand that people grow and will outgrow the salon, and I'm okay with that. You know, I obviously love and adore my team, but I also know that, you know, sometimes they're going to have to spread their wings. And obviously I love them so much that of course it would, you know, hurt me to see any of them go, but also like all I want for them is the best. And I will always, you know, I always tell them, as long as, you know, it's respectful and we have that open communication, like all I want is for the best for you and I want to see you grow. So I think that's really huge for me. And I think also, you know, any opportunity I can, I will try and bring them along. You know, like everything I do is I'm like,
if the staff is listening to this podcast, she's saying she's going to bring you to Europe.
Oh my my God. Honestly, I hope he's watching. But you know what I mean? Like I love creating opportunities for them, and like I give them an allowance for education, and I always try and get people into the salon so they can learn from whoever's inspiring them. And for the awards photo shoot, like I brought my whole team to Melbourne. I shot it in Melbourne because I wanted to be surrounded by 11 Australia family, and to have Andrew O'Toole and Kylie O'Toole, like I flew all of them because I was like, I can't do this without
that is amazing.
You. So, and for the awards night, we're all going. We're gonna have a table of
girls party.
So
I love it.
Wherever I can, and they work so hard. Like they are the hardest working.
And I think this is probably the reason why I asked this is whenever I visit different countries over here, when I visit distributorships or salons, that's probably one of the biggest questions I get asked. And I think our salon culture in Australia is very different to over here. I think we love to build a community within the salon, and I think it's and with other salons as well. And I think what you're saying now is whether it's fashion week, photo shoots, and I think people leave salons because they're either bored or it's time for them to move on, and they will find that energy or that rush at another salon. And I think keeping them motivated is sending them to extracurricular activities. And I think some salons, some hairdressers don't want to do that. Some just want to go to work 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's perfectly fine. But I find the ones that really want something, they're gonna tell you. They're gonna say, hey, fashion week, photo shoots, I want to enter this, I want to enter that. And I think the more you nurture that, the more successful your salon becomes, because it builds a community inside the salon.
Absolutely. And we went to the awards last October, and we all sat down, and I said, look, I would love for all of us to go with the intention that, we enter next year. So it kind of stemmed from the start to get them there, to be inspired. But it's also, like you said, it's okay if you don't want to. It's not for everyone. But I think for me to kind of open that door and get them a bit excited, if that means, creating content or whatever that looks like, I will always support them. But I definitely do tell them, like, come to me with a mood board. Tell me your ideas. Like, I'm not going to enable you. Like, my job is to make you obviously think and be inspired and drive and support you. So I think that's been the biggest thing. The girls know that, we sit down, we come up with a mood board, and then I help them with how they can grow. And I've really enjoyed kind of this new chapter, and watching them kind of take it on their own as well.
Are you enjoying watching them grow now? Isn't it the best?
Like, it's a really surreal.
Is that saying we're old now?
Yeah, I kind of feel like it. No, I'm not. I'm really not.
No, we're not. We're still in our early 30s.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not moving from 30. I'm staying at 30.
Yeah. Mars just saying, when can I come to Australia?
Oh my God!
Well, whenever you want, Ma, you can come to Australia whenever you want.
I've been waiting to meet you. I see you on socials. I follow you. I'm like, where? I feel like I know you.
Yeah, well, for those that don't know who Mar is an incredible educator in Ireland, and she's making waves in Australia. People are loving her.
She really is. Trust me, I've got my eye on you. I'm watching and following everything that you're doing. You
better not steal her from me. So I guess let's talk a little serious, or a little something. But you've had 11 Australia Colour since the very beginning of launching Liquid Colour. I think, looking at the Salon Jaimee Lee brand, your colour work that the girls and yourself produce are like top class colour, and I think. And this is part of the reason you're blowing up here, is your color work is it's so underrated, it's understated. It's like every time I see it, it's like flipping through a magazine of Italian Vogue or French Vogue. It's like it's the
Love it.
perfect mixture of like commercial and editorial put together. And I don't even know what to call that, but you have nailed it. And I think what I really love about what you and your team is doing, you use 11 Australia color. You've made it your own. You've made it the Salon Jaimee Lee brand. So my question for you is, how was it transitioning from another color brand to 11 Australia color?
Yeah, of course. I think when, for most of us that got our hands on the 11 Australia liquid color that first came out, we were in lockdown. So we were, 2020 COVID. So like
PTSD.
Yeah, sorry guys. So for us to like get our hands on it and not have like the day-to-day regular clients, I think that was like a challenge in itself. But then for me, you're always going to, I never like to compare. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I never like to compare anything. I like to look at it as its own. And yes, you're going to always have, your favorite formulas from maybe another like a brand. But for me, it was like, okay, I need to trial and error, really. So there was definitely times where I, put something on and I was like, what? This is, something that would be, in that brand. But for me, it was like, okay, cool. Now I know. So me transitioning, I have to say, like anything, I actually kind of take it on as a challenge. Like I accept. Like,
I love that. I love
that. And I've sat down with you and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, how do I fix it? And I think with any person that's like wanting to grow and be a little bit uncomfortable, you have to fail. So you have to kind of learn from those experiences. And I think as a team collectively, I can say that we all do that. And, we trial something new or we'll mix something new. And I love that about that, because I think it's really easy as a colorist or hairdressers to do the same thing over and over. And that's also okay. But for me, I get very bored and stagnant. And I also think my clients are going to want potentially to move on as well. So I need to continue to keep learning and evolving and trying different colors. Because my clients were, I love what you did last time. I'm like, yeah, so did I. But I want to change it up. So they might know that I'm changing it, but I can, reformulate or try something new or add this and that. And I think with any creativity, that's what we kind of do. It's installed from us. So of course, yes, by failing, I've learned. I won't lie. By trialing and, doing something on a client, being like, oh, actually, I'm not really loving that. Let's tweak it. Yeah. So,
and how have your clients found the color itself? Like, what responses have you been getting?
I think the biggest thing was like the shine. Like when I talk about the demi liquids, like they were like, oh wow, I've never had, so much shine to my hair. So that was definitely the first, huge thing that we were noticing. But to have a color brand that could do gray blending instead of doing, your really heavy color, that was like our first introduction to gray blending. And, demi liquids came out first before our permanent color. So that was a huge game changer, because it means it extended their client appointments in terms of coming back in, and the grow out was just unmatched. So that was huge to be able to offer a service with a gray blending that, had endless shine and also no regrowth. You know what I mean? So I'm a big lover of 4%. If you know me, all my cons are 4%.
Thank God someone finally loves 4%.
You always see my formulas and
there we go. Look at that, 4%. So okay, this is perfect for me, Jaimee. Why do you love 4%?
For me, I just believe that it pushes further into the hair and just brings out more tone, more shine. It's just driving my color to exactly where I want it to do. That's not to say that I don't love 2%, but 4% will always be kind of, okay, I'm going to start with that. Yeah. Taylor's naturally very light. Like she already starts at like a 8 level. So for me, having 2% on the roots was perfect. It's exactly where it needed to be. But to be able to have 4% on those ends and the hairline, it just kind of pushes it and brings out more of that tone and that shine. Yeah. And I guess it's just gorgeous.
So if anyone has any questions around the color or anything, please, or anything about today's session, please drop it in the comment. But if you've never used 11 Australia liquid color, just so you know, we have two different activators. One's a 2% and one's a 4%. The way I like to think about it is 2% is your lip gloss and then 4% is your lipstick. So think of the saturation of color that you'll get. But this is what I'm talking about, Jaimee. Like when I look at this image, this is a client of yours.
This is one of the girls that works for me, actually. Like, look at
And
it.
like, I look at it and like, this is like high-end editorial. Nah, she just went to the salon and got her hair done.
I don't even think I really had time to blow dry it. You know what it's like? I was like, I'll blow dry it, but I've kind of got to do another client.
Are you serious? That's not blow dried? You're lying to me.
Just a quick one. Just a quick one.
So I guess when we look at your formula here,
yeah,
you're using 713 or an 8.7. One of the things that we always a lot of people will always sort of bring up is, the liquid colors, the way they perform, the shine that you get, and the way it's so versatile. What is it about, I guess my question for you is, what is it about the liquid colors that your staff is enjoying?
I mean, I think again, like having one, we never used a liquid color. So that was like,
okay, wow,
a huge transition for us. So not to like, we've never had that option before. So to be able to have an option where, it glides onto the hair, our root smudges are smudged, and, everything is like blending from, start to stop. So I think that was like a huge thing, and being able to, I mean, the color just goes so much further, I will say, like in terms of having that liquid. I
love that.
Yeah, it just like glides through the hair, and I think the clients see that as well. Not to mention, obviously, having that porosity equalizer and that color lock spray just kind of helps us with everything that we do as well.
Yeah. And I guess as a business owner, Jaimee, like having the color go further, how are you finding that as a business owner?
Well, of course, you have to mix up less color on your clients, which means, you're not having to add that extra color. Obviously, of course, if you needed to add that extra color, but in terms of like as a salon owner, if I talk about, costings and stuff, wastage. And wastage, we're a sustainable salon. So, we have a waste bin, and, we try and keep that to absolute minimum. So for me, like, again, I want to think about the environment and like the future of, my son essentially, and the hairdressers. Yes. So I don't want to be putting that color down the drain. So I think the less wastage, the better. And the clients obviously appreciate that as well. You don't need to mix up so much.
I love. And I guess, you've been using liquid color since the very beginning. Let's talk about the permanent range.
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. Okay, can we please just look at this color? Now,
when you showed me this, I was like, shut up. You're using high lift?
Yeah. So
look how beautiful this is.
One of the girls that works for me, Billy, she created this color, and we formulated and worked with the placement of this. Now, she walked in with all natural hair. So the top of her hair.
What level was she?
Like, I mean, look at her level. She's probably about a 6, no darker than a 6.
Yeah.
So for me, she had all natural, just wanted to be sun-kissed and, have pieces and variation. And yeah, of course we could have used lightener, but me and Bill kind of spoke about it. Well, wait a second, we have an incredible high lift series. Why are we not using high lift? So that was like the biggest drive for us. And in the salon, all the girls will agree, is we love high lift. For people that are natural, like why wouldn't we use a high lift before we use a lightener? And the clients are like, can I have that no bleach color? So we're educating them now that, you can use an alternative, especially when someone doesn't need to be using lightener.
Yeah. So and I think, this is such a beautiful bloody image. And I think what's really beautiful about this is you've used a high lift on its own. You didn't gloss, you didn't tone after. You've let the actual product do its work. And I think if we have any people in the audience watching now who's never used our high lift, I would run to your nearest 11 Australia representative and get some shades, because you will be blown away by the result. It works completely differently than normal high lips work. You get such beautiful, even results. And I think, like, I look at this and this looks like an ad for some bloody editorial. Like, it's gorgeous. Look at the shine. I'm sorry, I have to go look so closely at my mouth.
I think just like, when me and Billy were kind of working out like placement and stuff, I think, she has so much hair and it's quite dense. So, we needed to make sure that the blend was like seamless, essentially. And I think that's exactly how it was created. And she's done an absolute incredible job. So I feel like, hats off, baby.
And I guess this is more of how long did this take for you?
So this was created on one of our content days where we kind of look at it as a training day. So I'll sit down with all the girls, we'll go through consultation and kind of go through formulas. And we talk about it as a group. So everyone's across the board, this client's coming with natural. I could potentially use that, for training and stuff. So I think she put the color on in like 45 minutes, maybe an hour tops. We didn't want to saturate it too much. And then we let it sit for the full processing time, washed it, and again, having color lock spray just makes it that little bit easier. So, I mean, she was probably done and shot within 4 hours. So it's very amazing. And to just glide through the hair and place it in a foil was beautiful.
So talk to me about these content days. What are these content days?
What are they? So this is like another big drive, I think, why the staff and we kind of capturate people to want to work at Salon Jaimee Lee is every month on a Friday we will set up a content day. Now what that looks like for the girls is we're capturing every single thing from consultation to the processing to applying to the end result to wet hair. And again, it can't be possible without having obviously Taylor, who looks after and films everything. So she's literally in the chair kind of with the clients as well. So what that looks like is, everyone, I will organize all the girls. Taylor will sit down and be like, this is who I've got, and these are the looks we want to create. So with that being said, we try and always create a variety, and this is a really great place for the girls to learn and explore new creativity options. If they've seen a color that they want to try, this is the perfect opportunity. Myself will try and keep myself free, and then I have the support of Billy that kind of manages as well. So that way I'm across the board, and when we have colors like this, we all kind of talk about it. Okay, what would you do? What sectioning pattern would you do? So across the board, we're all kind of collectively working on our clients, and it's just a really great vibe in here. Like the girls all buzz off each other, and like clients one another, and then we create beautiful work like this. So
and I think I really love that, because I think without content days, I really honestly believe that if you want your salon name to get out there, and if you want your work to be seen, you need content days. Like you need to create content, because I think your social media is your calling card. It's your business card. It's how people are going to know you, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
This is another bloody beautiful.
Oh, this color was like, I can't describe it. Everyone's like, what color is it? I was like, I can't tell you. It was, I'm going to put this in, I'm going to put this in, and then the base. I was like, this. I knew what I wanted, but it was just, she came in with like platinum blonde hair.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, okay, she wants to be a natural. She wants to be strawberry, a bit of copper. So this color is like everything. I love it.
I think maybe you're gonna have to put your SJL trademark on it. Maybe. But I mean, I love your formula in this, is because you're really utilizing your fashion shades in the liquid range. And I think if for a lot of people who've never used liquid color in 11 Australia, the possibilities are absolutely endless in terms of, we have such a I hate saying compact range, but we have such a range that, doesn't have 100 or million different colors, but you're able to actually be creative and be a colorist and create tones like this that you'll never see everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing, when I am kind of formulating or mixing up colors, and I'll tell the girls, put a drop of this in, and they're like, okay. And I'm like, I love exploring the possibilities. So I think adding that 6RR or 666 was key to this color, because otherwise it would have been more of your kind of copper gold, where she wanted that little hue. And that's where that adding that little drop is perfect.
I think you and your team absolutely been using 11 Australia color in such beautiful ways and incredible sort of results that you're getting. So thank you.
They're honestly incredible, and I think they drive me every day, and they kind of push me to be more creative. So again, you're only as good as your team, I believe.
Yes. So we're slowly running out of time, but before we run out of time, I want everyone to see you. So you I've seen you grow literally. You and I first started educating for 11 Australia over a decade ago. We first met on set at Next Top Model, which I still get PTSD from. I'm pretty sure it was 3 a.m. we were filming or something like that.
And 12.
And then you open your salon, and now you are now finalist for Australian Hairdresser of the Year. I mean, girl.
Like I said from the start, I still actually don't believe it. I left the awards last year in October, and on the Monday on the plane when I was flying home, I had a really good conversation with someone on the night, and she said it starts tomorrow. And I got on that plane and I started thinking about ideas. And I think I've been so focused on being a leader and being in the salon and growing in the industry that for me, I've never had an opportunity to enter. And for me, I still wanted to be very true to who I am and what my brand is. And the feedback I've already, heard back is people like, I know this is your collection. Without seeing your name, I know that this is your collection for WA.
And I think that in itself, and for people, everyone, this is Jaimee Lee's first entry. Yeah. And she bloody nailed it. And as you said, right, everyone knows who this is without even looking. And I guess this is what Behind the Hair really is about, is understanding the importance of what it takes to be that hairdresser and create a brand out of what you do best. And I think you've nailed it. So, oh my God, I can't wait.
I'm so proud to even just be acknowledged as a finalist. The emotions and the feelings, and to be able to put something together like you said is absolutely incredible. And to be able to have all my team and have it to inspire and drive them, I think is just a true replica of it's just who I am.
So I guess before we go, how did you even come up with the concept of your collection? If you don't mind sharing, obviously, but how do you go, okay, we're going to enter Salon Jaimee Lee. How do you then take Salon Jaimee Lee into full-blown hairdressing editorial?
Honestly, I don't think I slept for 8 months leading up to this in the best possible way. And I say that because every time I would kind of close my eyes, I'd have a vision or I'd have an idea pop into my head. And I think, sitting down and thinking about what I kind of wanted to put out there for my first collection and still make sure that it was true to who I am and push my creativity. I think that was one thing, having conversations with Andrew, and I believe that I do beautiful hair, and I wanted to make sure that came across in my collection, to know that I could execute beautiful hair really well. And I think that's just true to who I am, and it's what I do. So the drive behind that, I think, will always be beautiful hair. I love what I do, and I love, making sure that hair looks like hair. So you'll see in a lot of the images, they are so beautifully executed, and it's kind of what I do on a day-to-day basis. However, I know that going into, Australian Hair Fashion Awards, I need to execute and show skill in every possibly way. So when I'm looking at what I want to create and kind of all the, things that come to your mind, it's how do you compress that? And, there's so many people in, our industry that I look up to and I aspire, and I find so much inspiration, but I find inspiration from anywhere. I find inspiration from being on a plane. I find inspiration from looking outside. I find inspiration from, walking and talking. So I think there is endless opportunities. And, if you're thinking about doing this, it's so incredible. And I think it's an amazing experience. I'm so glad we have, the Australian Hair Fashion Awards to be able to, create this opportunity for us.
Yeah.
And also, I've got, again, so much support around me that they're like my backbone, they drive, and I couldn't have done it without all of them. So all these inspirations just, flood through, and it's kind of how do you compress it? And I kind of draw, to be really honest with you. A lot of my collections were from me just drawing. And then
we gotta have to see these drawings.
But yeah, I'll sit on the plane and I'll draw, and then I'm like, is that even possible? Can I even create that with hair? And then I realized that anything is possible. And if you wanted to, of course, but the prep work that goes into something like this is just
ridiculous.
Incredible. Yeah. And I'm so excited for like the future and the next one, because you can grow so much from every collection, I think.
Yeah. And I guess my last question, speaking of future, what is next for the Jaimee Lee brand? Like, what do you have cooking up for us?
Wow. I mean, my huge goal has always been like looking after the salon and, always driving and making sure that I can create a team culture and stuff, for them to thrive, and obviously always have my support. So that's been my huge kind of, basis the last, I guess, 5 years, is just making sure that I have a really strong team that support me and I can support them. And moving forward, I think, continuing that team culture and that growth, and seeing, how I can support them and give back. But I think, as me being an educator for 11 Australia, and again, if you guys have all been on here, you would know that my love and passion for this industry is like unmatched. You guys are the future generation of the hairdressers. So for me, I have some incredible classes coming up with 11 Australia that I'm putting together.
Woo!
So stay tuned, because I'm in the works of creating some incredible education for everyone, globally. So I am in the works.
Love it.
That is kind of where I'm going to be pushing it to the next level.
Just seeing this grow is incredible. So thank you so much, Jaimee Lee. That's it for today for our first episode of Behind the Hair. Yes. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please stay tuned for more episodes that are coming up, and obviously like and subscribe. Thank you, Jaimee.
Bye, guys. Thank you, guys. Love you all.
Bye everyone. Ciao.